So if I was working on, let's say, site design and somebody started talking about traffic, my mind would freeze up and then I'd have to say like, wait, I can't hear this now, or I'm going to get derailed with the steps I need to take right now and end up 2 weeks later. Now I know all this stuff about traffic, and let's say I don't even have my site up and ready. So then it's almost like a slight waste, or at least some of it might disappear by the time I need to actually know about traffic, let's say 2 months later. Half that stuff I learned about would have just wasted time when I could have just focused on what was next, which let's say was the site design.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's become this automatic mechanism for you, which is great. So we want to give 4 tips about how to apply this just-in-time learning to your own life. So tip number 1 is to find the right mentor or the right system to go through. There are a lot of different ways to succeed in internet business, a lot of different paths you can take to earning money. And so, there's just as many ways there are out there. You'll find just as many mentors or systems or products or things that are promising to take you to that point that you want to get to. But it can get very confusing if you start listening to too many people at the same time. One person might say, "Oh, well, this is how I made my money," and another person might say, "Well, this is how I made it, this other way over here." And so the goal here is just to find somebody whose style you resonate with, the types of things they talk about seem to be a good fit for, the kinds of things that you like to do. I mean, this is why we talk so much about thinking a bit about what do you want? What's the kind of lifestyle? What's the kind of purpose that you want for yourself? We talk about the definite major purpose in the academies, because if you know those things and have a sense of the style of lifestyle and the style of business that you want to have in order to feel fulfilled yourself, that's going to help you find a mentor or a system that's going to fit that. So you don't just brute force try to take this, square peg in a round hole type situation and spend all this time following too many mentors or following a mentor that really is not going to get where you really want to be. So find the right mentor and system, and then just, follow that person very carefully and as much as possible filter out the other voices out there. Not that those are, there's lots of different good systems, but again, you'll just find yourself confused if you try to listen to too many voices at the same time. So find the one that just feels like it's a good fit for you. Number 2 is to unsubscribe liberally. This applies to both email as well as blog subscriptions. There are a couple ways that we consume a lot of information when learning about this internet business stuff. Again, whether beginner or more advanced, there's always a lot of people we can learn. And it's smart. It's smart to go and learn from what other people have done and what's worked well for them and shortcut the process. But if we've got, 20 email lists that we've subscribed to, and every day one of them's trying to pitch us something new, or every day, 10 emails show up on our inbox just about different new ideas in internet marketing, again, that can be very confusing, very overwhelming. And, it's just natural, normal human nature to be very attracted by the shiny and new thing, to be like, ooh, that sounds new and interesting. Maybe this is the secret sauce. Maybe this is the thing I'm missing. And I know I used to feel, and even sometimes I still catch myself doing this, I'd feel like, oh, well, if I don't read this blog post, maybe I'm missing out on the one thing, just the one thing that I'm missing right now. But, the truth of the matter is that, as I started filtering those things out and unsubscribing liberally to email lists that I'm on and blogs that I read, I found myself freed up and finding a lot more energy, a lot more focus, and actually making a lot faster progress in my business. Just over the last 2 weeks, I've been unsubscribing quite a bit. I mean, every once in a while, I'll do a concerted effort of spending about 2 weeks in a row where every email in my box, I think, why did I get this email? Is this a list I can unsubscribe from? And is it not immediately applicable? We'll talk about Quick Filter here in a second. And it's been very, very freeing to hit a number of unsubscribe links, and it's down to very few now.
Yeah, I think I'm down to somewhere around 3 newsletters or so, down from well over 30. And it was almost like a daily task just to go through all those emails, because I could spend an hour just trying to sort through over 30 emails from different lists, trying to go, oh, do I need this? When do I need this? Do I need to sort it into this folder? I mean, that's like a part-time job almost sometimes, going through all these newsletters.
And, some people might think, oh, well, it only takes me a few seconds to make a decision as to whether archive or delete or keep it. But you'd be surprised at how all these little things really do add up and tax your energy reserves. Tip number 3 is the quick filter. Have a quick filter ready. And basically, it's just kind of a two-step process. The first, so when there's any piece of information that shows up, whether it's an email, whether it's a blog post, whether it's a course that somebody just pitched to you, whether it's a friend going, oh my gosh, here's this new thing I've just been learning about, and you start feeling, and I think part of this is about getting in tune with that little voice. It's actually a little feeling of anxiety that starts coming up on like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm missing out, I think we can kind of get addicted to that feeling. If you sense that at all, the first thing to do is ask yourself, does this apply to my top 3 goals that I'm trying to accomplish in my life and business right now?
Yeah, and then the next question is the information actionable? Can I take action now, today, or this week, or at the longest this month? Not, can I take action 4 months from now? Is this going to be useful for me way later? And the getting things done system that's talked about in the book of the same name is very useful for sorting information to make sure that you are only going to look at actionable information when you need it.
It's as simple as that. 2 pieces. Ask yourself the question, does this apply to my top 3 goals? And then number 2, will I put this into action in the next few weeks? And if you answer no to either of those, then dump it. Get rid of it. Just say, you know what? Just let it go. It's okay. When you need it later, you can go find it. Lots of other things will always be showing up, and it's not going to be the end of your business if you just let it go now. So one thing that can help you with this is to create yourself, if you're finding yourself having a hard time just letting things go, then maybe kind of baby step yourself through it. And I do this sometimes, actually quite often. I'll create a sometime maybe folder. And it's just a folder where it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, this might, and I'm still having a hard time just dumping it out into oblivion where I might never find it again. And so I'll just dump it into this folder. It might be, I'll grab this PDF report and put it in the folder. I'll grab this email and dump it in the folder, this link to this web page and all this stuff later. And the truth of the matter is usually later what I end up doing is I just end up deleting that folder altogether. I'll go in there, I'll glance at it, and I'll be like, yeah, that felt really important to me 2 months ago, but clearly I've been living fine without it. It still doesn't apply. And all of a sudden I'm just able to be more detached from it and go, I mean, maybe just because it's not in that moment or whatever, and just hit the delete button and my computer says, do you want to delete this permanently? I go, yes. And away it goes.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do it that way. For me, it's about the same. I actually schedule time once every month or every 6 weeks or so even to just go quickly through that folder and see if anything has moved from the sometimes maybe to actionable right now. And I'd have to say 80-something+% of the time, it's just deleted.
Well, and that brings up our 4th tip right here, and that is the 80-20 rule, which applies to so many things in life. And it's the simple thing of, probably 80% of the results are really going to come from only about 20% of the information so we need to find that 20% of information that's going to give us the greatest percentage of the results that are available.